Hello everyone, this is Anil Khwaja, I'm a registered migration agent and co-founder of ThinkHack Consultants and PDClasses.com. Lots of states have given their migration policy, how they're going to nominate the people, what exactly the requirements are. And finally, Tasmania has much awaited state, which obviously for most of the onshore students and onshore graduates or those who have moved to Tasmania recently were waiting. And finally, day before yesterday, they have announced their policy, and these policy will start being implemented from October 2025, which is say this current month. So they have done lots of changes. We will be discussing about this one since we know New South Wales policy is going to come in next 1 or 2 days. They might have updated their website with the new requirements as well, which is good part. Queensland already have given their policies. Victoria have given theirs. Western Australia we are waiting for, and now in South Australia they have updated the list. So soon their policy is going to become, and we believe that it's going to be pretty much the same because they might not be changing anything much into their migration plan. But Tasmania has made some significant changes. So we'll be discussing. There is huge changes. I can't remember each and everything, so I'm using my notes in order to explain you the things. One of the good part is they haven't changed much of the graduate pathway. So the either a 49 or 190, they haven't changed much into that one. Only the salary range has been changed. We'll be discussing for the gold pass. So let's go back to the migration plan notes. I have it. So first and foremost, they have drastically have changed the website. Now the website has been restructured very nicely. All the information has been on the same page. If you select a graduate pathway or work stream, so you'll get 491190 requirements on the same page, which is pretty good. At priority attributes has also been changed. They have kept the priority attributes stable now, which makes things easier for understand. And the additional information page has also been updated. This is good. And then obviously they have also simplified the ROI process. So the calculator has been updated, and now they would be giving scores. So if you are under the gold pass, then you may have received more than 1,000 plus points. If you're green pass, then more than 250, and then orange pass less than 250. Now you need to understand that you have to target the gold pass only. This is where you will get the invitation quicker. Otherwise, green and orange pass, it will take a lot of months, maybe forever. We are not sure. So the first is the top priority is the gold pass. So you need to understand that you have to follow the gold pass. Whatever their requirements are, if you meet them, it's going to be easier for them to get the Tasmania state sponsorship. Let's talk about what the changes they have done, the skilled and the lower skilled roles. So all references NSCO 1 to 3 and the lower level NSCO 4 to 5 in the priority attributes has been replaced with the income threshold. So what they're saying is so that initially if you were working under 1 to 3 or 4 to 5, there were different priorities. Now they have kept it to the income threshold, that is 57,000 base rate per annum. So if you're earning this one, then you would get into the priority. All right. So candidates earning at least 50,000, 57,000 per year with the base rate of 28.85. So even though if you run 28.17 or 272530, whatever, you would not get the priority. So for the priority, you need to have 28.85 per hour. That would be your base rate, excluding any overtime, penalty rates, bonus, or casual loading. So this is very important. You need to understand. Second, they have given priority, the gold pass, to the employment in health, allied health, or education professionals. So what they are, say in health, doctors, nurses, health and welfare manager, NECs, and all those stuff. Allied health would be pretty much similar to that one, but physiotherapist, psychologist, and all those stuff that comes into the allied health part. And then educational professionals are early childhoods, primary school teachers, secondary school teachers. These all comes under the education professionals. So this is how this is working out. Now, changes to the minimum requirements also, they have changed some of the minimum requirements in order to make sure that at least you put the right application or you comes under the right pass. The first is the applicant must genuinely intend to remain in Tasmania for the current period. Right now, it's 2 years after getting the nomination. So they would be sending surveys. Similar, like we told last time as well, Tasmania starts sending lots of emails to people who have got the nomination. So you need to be very careful that it is after the nomination, not after the visa grant. So after nomination, whatever time you will be spending, it will come to the 2 years one. So this is very important. Onshore skill occupation list has been changed to priority skill occupation list. So priority roles list, what's been given on the website, the priority roles list is pretty much similar like the onshore ones, the critical list, which you have seen in last couple of years. Now they have changed it to priority roles. And then again, a priority roles comes with the, if you're working with similar NSCO group, the first it is the 3 digits needs to be similar, then you still consider in the priority roles. So to be eligible, you need to at least have 9 months of employment and 6 months if you are going with the gold pass with the health, allied, and education, then it needs to be 6 months minimum. Candidate in all other occupations must need to work 15 months of employment. So this is for the 190 skill employment pathway we're talking about. So these all the requirement is for the 190 skill employment, means work stream we are talking about. So if you're not working in a priority role, then 15 months employment in the NSCO 3 digit group. Other occupations, that means the priority occupations, I'm talking about the health, allied health, and education. If you're not, then 15 months. Otherwise, 9 months. So this is how. Now, to be considered under this pathway, applicant must have at least 75% of TSMIT, currently 57,000 per year. So what this means that if you're earning for last 3 months this base rate, 57,000 per year, then you're all good. So your rate needs to be 28.85. This is the requirements. Now, similar to 491 Tasmania Skill Employment Pathway, you need to be in Tasmania for next 2 years after the nomination. Again, salary is 57,000 with 28.85 base rate. Obviously, if the 3 months requirement has been now removed, so there is no 3 months requirements you need to meet in order to apply for 491, but they have increased the work requirement. So we'll talk about that one in down the line. If your job is not directly related to the nominated occupation, then you must need to hold the relevant experience with the qualification. For instance, you are working as a disability support officer, but you have studied Master of Accounting and your accountant is your nominated occupation, but you must need to have a diploma of disability or similar qualification in order to meet the work requirement, because you must need to show that you have a qualification. That's why you're working in Tasmania. But again, coming back to it, should not nominated occupation can be different. And then again, if candidates earning lesser than 57,000, you need to earn minimum salary wages, national salary wages for last 12 months, but for last 3 months, it needs to be 57,000 in order to be in a priority list. Now, well-established Tasmania 190. So you need to be pathway. This pathway is for those who are staying in Tasmania for minimum 3 years. Uh, you can work in any occupation in 12 months out of last 18 months, and you must be earning 57,000. Again, coming back to last 3 months needs to be 57,000, whereas if you're earning before that lesser, it needs to be under the national wages base rate. That is very important. Or if you've worked 18 months within last 3 years in a role that pays least national minimum wage. So again, coming back to, if you're not earning 57,000, then you have to work for 18 months with the minimum base rate at the national minimum wage, and that is $24.45. So say $25 you need to minimum earn. There's an alternate for this one now. Business-based eligibility is that you must operating Tasmania business for at least 2 years. Business must generate minimum personal, so personal income for the business is more than the TSMIT. It's 76,515. So 76,515 you need to earn per year. And again, the profit needs to be 76,505. So obviously, if you're a business operator, you have these profits in order to pay your salary or your profits. So this is how it's gonna work it out. They are also accepting remote work. Eligibility is there now. So say if you have an employer who is in Victoria, but you working for them in Tasmania, so that's perfectly fine. So your employer doesn't need to be a Tasmanian employer. but you need to make sure that at least you're working for last 12 months with them. You must be benefiting in Tasmania. Obviously, you must be in Tasmania. And again, the salary needs to be 57,000 with 28.85 per hour would be the base rate. So base rate, as we said, and I'm keep repeating this one, it's minus overtime, penalty rates, bonuses, and casual loading. So quite interesting, really. So again, now let's get back to the 499 Tasmania established resident pathway. Earlier we spoken about 190, so now it's 491. Applicant must work for 6 months in last 12 months in the role that pays at least 57,000 per year, is pretty much similar. Work for at least 12 months out of 18 months in a role that has at least, okay, so there are two ways you can apply for 491 well established. One is you need to be in Tasmania for minimum 3 years, but again, coming back to the working requirement, you need to at least work 6 months out of 12 months with the minimum base rate of 57,000 per year, that is $28.85 cents per hour. Or if you're not able to earn that much, then the minimum national wage for last 12 months out of 18 months. So if you have worked for 12 months out of 18 months with minimum wages, you can still apply, but you need to be in Tasmania for 3 years. This is very good for those who are still in Tasmania and haven't got their nomination and they were waiting for some time. This is the right time to apply for this 491 Tasmanian established pathway. Then business operator pathway we have already discussed, but for the 491, you must need to have an income threshold of 65,037. For 190, it's for 76,515, but for 491, it's 65,037. So they have changed lesser for the 491. And then obviously you need to meet the sustainability requirements, like business must be financially viable, you are not in losses and paying applicant salary. So this is very important. Okay. So if you are an applicant, then you have to pay your salary, and then probably you have to show that the personal earning is at least 67,037, not less than that. Now for overseas applicant, only health or education sector job only offer only pathways there. So they have closed down the 491. There's no 491 pathway, only 190. If you have an employer in Tasmania who can offer you a job in allied health and education related, like teachers or any other like vocational education. There are few others in the education industry. It's not always about AITSL and ACCQA. You can always go to VETASIS to get your vocational education trainer, or a private tutor or something that is more predominantly related to education sector. So this is very important. You must have a job offer as well, and the employer needs to be in Tasmania. For school teachers, your job needs to be in Tasmanian school, not in other state, and then working from home. This would not count. So you have to have a Tasmania school job offer. So these are the main requirements. Apart from the graduate requirements are pretty much same. 2 years of study for 190, 1 year study for 491. So that's pretty easy. Let's run through the graduate list. So in my next video, I'll be discussing more about the Tasmanian graduate list. But meanwhile, these are the all changes which Tasmania has brought for this financial year. All the very best. And if you're unsure, this is the right time to latch on this one. Thank you so much. Bye.